I'm your host, Tyler Nichols, and this is my co-host, Lance Velchek. And I'm thrown off a little bit. Lance, how are you today?
Oh, amazing, dude. This is I got a gorgeous warm day. Went to the ocean earlier, swam around, had a bucket, and I'm here talking with you, which is the final episode, our series finale on Friday the 13th.
Yes. I'm pretty excited about this. I have no inkling of how this is going to go in terms of like this could be an hour episode, this could be a 3-hour episode. I have no clue. So hopefully you guys will join us for the ride and we'll have a fun time talking about this stuff, because what we're going to do is we're essentially just going to, Lance and I both have our individual rankings for the series. We will start from the bottom to the top. When the film gets mentioned a second time, that's when we will discuss it, because essentially we don't want to talk about the film until it gets to its highest ranking, because then it just makes sense in terms of you don't want to talk if I'm going to list Friday the 13th part 7 low, we don't want, and you list it high, we want to talk about it for, the person that holds it in high esteem. So that's going to be how we do it. And I'm excited about this because I really like ranking. Ranking stuff is my jam. So I know you're a little more iffy with it.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Until I met you, I was very, very anti-ranking, and I still am. I think in my heart, in my heart alone, with nobody around, when I'm truly thinking inwards, I fucking hate lists. But I do enjoy the adventure of trying to organize one of these just to see, because I know what I love, but I think it gets a little wish-washy towards the end anyway. But now that you're a big ranking guy and I've had to rank some things, I have put this in order, and I am curious because I titled it on my Letterboxd, You'll Probably Be Pissed.
There you go. I'm really curious. I think I know, because we just talked 12 movies. So I would hope that I have a grasp of how you're feeling with this, but I genuinely don't know. And I should say too, Lance and I do not know each other's lists in any way. We have not hinted. I guess technically we both know our number 12, but that's mostly just because there's one really bad movie. But otherwise, I think that the list will be a complete mystery. And also, I want to state this right off the bat. Make sure that you let us know whether it's on our Instagram or can you leave comments on Spotify? I can't remember, or like the different podcast sites.
I don't know. Actually, Spotify is what I listen to. I've never tried to leave a comment before. I do not know.
No, I'm not sure. But either way, I'm fairly active with our Instagram, so make sure that you let us know I'll have a post for the franchise, and I'm very curious as to what your guys' ranking is. So make sure to post your ranking as well, because it might be very different from ours. It might be the exact same. Either way, I think rankings, and a reason that I like doing rankings is I think it's very, revealing of someone's personality and likes and interests, because rankings are a bit different than just a rating, because there can be a movie that you rate very highly that then you might rank something else above it that's rated lower, because rankings just don't abide by just basic ratings. It's more of a feel. So I'm very interested in getting into this. So
I think
Lance, I see you have something on your mind.
You might have just nailed why I don't like rankings. I don't like giving people any leverage. I don't like showing my cards. I want people to know who I am and think they know me. You don't know me. But you're right, though. It does give some information out there that I prefer to keep private. Okay, interesting. Never put it, I never conceptualized it in that way, but I think you nailed it.
You realize that we are currently participating in a podcast that will then get people will get to know us more, and
I'm gonna throw some ringers out there. Actually, I'll put a few things that just aren't true.
You already do that.
Muddy the water. All right. Okay. Well, whatever. we're going to start off with number 12 because I know it's the same movie for both of us. It has to be.
Yes.
If not,
yes.
I'll walk out right now.
Yes. Number 12 is, of course, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. And yeah, this is the worst. This is the biggest piece of shit in the entire franchise. I'm kind of annoyed. I currently am looking at my Letterboxd right now, and it features all of my old ratings. I think these ratings were from probably 5 years ago, and I have Jason Goes to Hell at 2.5 stars out of 5, which is, I want to slap past Tyler, because what in the world? That movie is not deserving of that high of a rating. This is a half-star movie in every way.
I was gonna say half star makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Because technically it is a movie and that gets half a star.
Yep, it was made. Cameras were rolling and it was released into theaters. That's half a star right there.
Yeah, the half a star is because somebody paying Kane Hodder to come to work, and I appreciate that. I think that's nice of them.
Yeah, I mean, it gets stars from various things. Like, yeah, Kane Hodder, there's that cool tent death. But the number of things that they get wrong, for everything they get right, it's essentially for every step forward, there's 2 steps back, which is why we end up at barely anywhere. It's awful. It's the dumbest thing. I hated this movie. I mean, go back. This can be said for any of these movies on our ranking. If this is the first episode that you're listening, which I don't know why, but if that happens to be the case, make sure that you listen to our individual episodes, because they will go into even more detail about our opinions on the individual films. Because I went hard in Jason Goes to Hell.
It is one of those that just has not aged at all. You know, I've grown as a person, but for some reason, this movie probably pisses me off more now than it did, only because I have less time in front than behind. And the fact that I'm wasting the little precious gift of life watching this fucking movie, where it's awkward, it's weird, tonally it's off. It's my least favorite Jason costume, Jason appearance. This dumb retcon of mythology, everything about this doesn't work. And the deaths aren't that cool to make up for that. The 10th death is, I'll give him that. But again, I don't really care, because these movies are like I've always said, for me personally, voting for Jason, rooting for Jason, being on Jason's side. And if you're going to replace him with random people, then I'm already just not having it. It's not my bag.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work. It's just, getting rid of Jason is just a disappointment. I mean, if there's one thing that I've discovered of watching so many horror movies, and specifically slashers over the years, it's that your killer is your most important attribute, because as soon as you have someone that just looks silly when they're committing the murders, it changes the entire dynamic of the film. I think of Slumber Party Massacre 2, or Slumber Party Massacre 1, really. The guy in the complete jean getup. He's wearing a Canadian tuxedo with a red shirt under it. It's just an absurdly large drill, comically large, and just that image, it just immediately puts it into the B movie category. You're not going to ever get this serious horror film out of it. And I think that's similar to Jason Goes to Hell. You're not going to get a good horror movie out of this random morgue tech killing people, this random or TV host with suspenders. Like, it's awful. So dumb.
It's corny. And I think that's its biggest sin, is that it's not even fun dumb. It's just corny and annoying. And I hate the fact that it's called Jason Goes to Hell, and Jason's not really ever in it, and he doesn't really go to hell. I got pulled on the ground. That's cute. Spawn went to hell, at least. I'm not saying it worked, but this he does not.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just dumb. Oh, and I should say too, I kind of think it'd be fun if we did our for every one of these, we do favorite kill from the film. So my favorite kill would obviously be the 10th death. Yeah, there's nothing else even.
No, the melting of the face is cool, but no, the 10th death is the highlight of the movie.
Yeah, I honestly put it in my top 10 just deaths because it's so well done. Yeah. It is brilliant. It is the Terminator 2 like kill where he pierces the T-1000. It's that, except with a real person, and it's exploding in half. Just it looks brilliant, and of all the things that they get wrong in this movie, it's amazing how they got that right. But it also shows where when you bring in the right people, you can get good results, because that's K&B effects. So they nailed it.
Yeah, I'd like to just say one thing. A broken clock is right twice a day. So I'm not going to give them that credit. K&B is really good. That's just blind luck that they hired him. I don't think there was any skill in that. They're probably just like, I've heard of these guys. It's like, it's because they're great.
No, I think it was them getting looped in from the Elm Street days. They were New Line's effects house. Yeah, not like actual, but that's who New Line used a bunch.
I'm just saying, well, I'm not giving any credit to the director is what I'm saying for
oh no, I agree. I'm agreeing with you in that I think it was just a New Line decision in terms of this is who you're using.
I'll give some credit to Bob Shea,
Yeah. Oh yeah, Bob Shea. He knows what he's doing. Other than Jason Goes to Hell. He's listed as a producer on this, right?
It has to be. Yeah,
New Line?
Not New Line in the 90s. Yeah, it has to be.
No, that's insane. All right. Well, we've done number 12. Number 11 for me, I have listed Friday the 13th, part 3D.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen. You're out of your mind. Mine is going to be the OG, Friday the 13th, 1980.
Nice. Well, then that means we need to move up to our number 10, which for me, Friday the 13th, 1980. So we can discuss this lovely film. I was close to doing to dropping it, but I mean, you can go back. I'll say it a lot. You can go back and hear it on the podcast. I was gobsmacked by my viewing of this film, or by like it doesn't hit as hard as I wanted it to, but it's still, I don't know. It's one of those movies that I understand why everyone loves it, but I don't adore it as much as others, but I still get a kick out of many elements of it. But you listed this even lower than me, so
I've been a lot nicer probably recently, just because I don't know, I feel like I've hit this a lot over the years. But even still, what I love about this series isn't really in this movie. This, as we get later in the list, you'll know why, and if you listen to the episodes, you'll definitely know why. I respect that this is the beginning. It did its own thing. It was a little fun Halloween ripoff set into camp. That's awesome. But like the POV who done it, just the stabbing kills, it's just not my movie. It's for somebody who loves slashers dearly. Like I could see somebody like you at least appreciating them more than me, where I'm like, It doesn't have anything that I'm into in general. And the only thing that this really does is just start the franchise that eventually gets to the place where I love it. So it's just, it's fine. I can't really say it's terrible. It's not low on the list because I think it's a bad movie. It's just not for me. I'm not into it at all. And for that, that's as nice as I've been. There's things I like. I like Kevin Bacon. I like Crazy Ralph. Betsy Palmer is fun, but this is one I rarely revisit. And honestly, the chances of me watching it again are probably very little. There's nothing in this I need to see again. So good for everybody else.
You bring up a real good point too, in terms of it's mostly the context that it has with the rest of the Friday the 13th franchise. That is why it is so lowly ranked and doesn't work as well, because you're right. Like, as someone that loves slashers, and just I love that basic the basic setup of a slasher, where it's just people go in a certain place, they get picked off one by one, and then there's a showdown with the killer, and it's always just in a different setting. I love that. So with that in mind, if I watched this movie without the context of the rest of the franchise, I probably would enjoy it on the same level that I enjoy a Happy Birthday to Me, The Prowler, that kind of film, where because it also puts it at a lower tier. I have lower expectations with a standard slasher because there's not that much that needs to be done. I just need kills, little nudity, and a final girl, and killer doing something. There's not like a high threshold for quality there in terms of entertainment. But with a Friday the 13th, I just have higher expectations. My entertainment, what I derive entertainment from the Friday the 13th franchise isn't quite the same as I get from every slasher, because like you said, it starts to get more of an identity, and that identity is Jason. Yes. Jason's identity really makes Friday the 13th what it is and sets it apart from even other popular franchises like Halloween's or Nightmare on Elm Streets, because there's personality, and without Jason here, you're missing that personality. But I will say Betsy Palmer is fucking awesome. Her personality shines through in that final 10 minutes. Anytime that I have to show a clip when I'm like, oh, mention Friday the 13th in a video, and then I show something from it, I almost always choose Betsy Palmer. Almost always, because I love Betsy Palmer in this movie. I think she's so good. It's like, maybe one of the other things is like the Kevin Bacon death, because I also think that's very iconic and works really well. But yeah, there's elements of this movie that I really love, but this whole podcast has been about revisiting the Friday the 13th franchise. So with that in mind, I also have to rank it in context of the Friday the 13th franchise. So,
dude, you said that so eloquently. I don't really know what to add. I mean, all right, fair enough, man. No, yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. I respect what it did. It's not for me, but I'm not going to walk around like, oh, it's terrible. It's not for me. But dude, you're right though. Betsy Palmer. And speaking of, the Kevin Bacon death would be my favorite death, just because one, it's Mr. Val himself. But it's a cool kill. It's like you said, it's iconic. It has that thing spouting up from the neck, little points. It's gory for its time. It's the kill that I always remember, and I think that's the reason why, like, anytime this specific movie comes up, that's usually the kill that they'll show or mention, because it's where the money went.
Yeah, and it looks incredible. I like the arrow kill, but we don't see it. Yeah. We just see the aftermath. So if we actually got to see elements of that, I think it would be up there. But yeah, the other one for me, I love the axe death. The axe death just works really well. It hits the light and goes into her face. I like it, but I think that we, as horror fans, remember it as lasting longer, and because we've seen the behind the scenes, seen the photos, and it's very brief, even in the uncut version, super, super brief. So because of that, versus the Jack death, which that's Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon's death they show it all there. He's struggling. It's spouting up. It feels unique. And yes, in 4K, it looks a little silly, but
yeah, it's an old movie. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't care about that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's old. If anything, I find that charming.
Yeah. And something I still can't do to this day. So, hey, who am I to sit here and talk shit? Like, good for people actually making practical effects and trying to bring imagination to life.
Agreed. So you and I both have the same kill so far, which isn't a surprise, because there's usually a standout kill in each film. So I have a feeling that most of our favorites are going to be the standouts.
Yeah, let's see. I might throw you for a ringer.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'll throw you for a ringer once we get into certain. My whole part 2 is going to throw you for a ringer. But so we went over my number 10. What is your number 10?
Sorry, Tyler. This is not going to make you happy. Mine is Friday the 13th, Part 2.
Well, we're not going to be talking about that one for a very long time.
I know.
Holy shit.
Well, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, you pissed me off. Time for me to piss you off. Number 9, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough for that one. We won't be able to talk about for a while also. So I'm assuming those will be, I think that, if I'm guessing, will be either the last round or the one right before.
Well, it's fairly good guess, but I guess we'll have to see. what's your number 9?
So my number 9 is number 5, The New Beginning or A New Beginning.
Holy shit! Yeah, we are. Our lists are totally totally different. This makes it fun.
Okay.
Also makes it so we're not to really remember what we said. So it's like, oh wait, yeah, that one was stated. Well, not talking about it because my number 8 is Jason X.
What?
Yeah, I know. As soon as I even looked through, I'm like, I care. This is going to be all over the place because I know you're going to list these higher.
Okay, so my number 8 is part 3.
There we go. Part 3. We can finally talk about it.
Is your 8 part 3?
Yeah, part 3 is up because I had a number 11. So I had an existential crisis when we recorded this episode because this used to be one of my favorites. I probably had it at number 2 or number 3 on my old ranking of this franchise. Like, genuinely loved this movie. I would watch it back to back with part 2 a lot. I would watch the first 4 quite a bit. It would just be a fun thing to put on, especially with those DVD sets, because then they have the two of them on one disc. And part 3 always was a favorite of mine, but nope, I don't like it anymore. I don't like it to the point that you and I, next time we're together, we're doing a Friday the 13th commentary on part 3 because you need to see if I maintain my negative Nancy streak with it, because
you're in such a grumpy mood that makes no sense. I know it's not amazing, but I'm surprised you can't have fun with this one. That really does surprise me. It seems like it's just dumb enough. It's fun enough. It's the buds of what we will eventually come to love, I think, are more in this one. I'm very surprised how much you hated it during our original talk. And I guess I'm not surprised it's ranking low. I guess maybe I thought I could have a change of heart, some sort of come to Jesus moment, maybe around like a bridge, like Costanza or like the little pier, and he realizes and he runs back, but it never came, it seems.
Yeah, it just doesn't stand out as anything. I mean, I think about different moments, but I used to consider this good, like not entertaining, good. A good film, and just every element doesn't work for me. I don't like Chris as the final girl. That's a kind of a common thread in terms of the Friday the 13th that I dislike. It's usually because of the final girl. I can't get down with a bad final girl. It's just not appealing. I mean, I just watched Happy Birthday to Me. And the final girl is great in it. The rest of the movie sucks, but like the final girl is great. So I was like, oh, well, at least it gave me that. And yeah, so I don't like Chris. I like Jason's design. Charles Brooker, I believe, Richard Brooker is Jason under the mask, like does a great job. And yeah, I mean,
yeah, the look, this is a great look, man. He has the high, what is it? The traps? What are the neck muscles called?
Yeah, the traps. Yeah, you got the big ass traps.
I like that look in this. It's almost like a wrestler from like the 80s, early 90s, like that body type. And it was the first time where Jason like actually was opposing in terms of size. So this to me is that kind of that kindles that love for big tough Jason. And I thought the 3D's fun, man. I really do. I own it. I have 3D glasses. Can't have fun with this style. I just can't. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's just not. I mean, it's hard to not compare this with part 2 because it is directed by Stephen Miner. It came out just a year later, and it didn't work for me because of that. All these comparisons, because you think of the 3D element, and yes, there's a lot of fun 3D dumbness, but it's also overlit because of it. So everything looks like a stage play. And yeah, I don't know. I could see myself coming around to the badness of it, but I'll never consider this good again. It just makes me mad.
All right. Well, what is your favorite kill?
My favorite kill from this would likely be the eye popping out. the douchebag boyfriend, the one that you can never remember, just like dissipates from your mind.
Okay. It is a cool little scene with the string and all. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I've actually put Andy getting chopped in half.
Andy. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a ginger beer, and anyone that knows ginger sometimes like can like make you a cough.
You drinking a Moscow Mule? You have the cup.
Yes, I am drinking a Moscow Mule.
Nice.
Yeah.
Andy's doing the handstand. It's that kind of bottom up shot. Jason hits him. He collapses with the machete. It's a cool kill. I like the look of it.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't make any sense, because then we see she's out in that hallway like 15 seconds later, and there's no blood.
Oh my god! Right,
he's above.
Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna walk through it. I mean, yes, it's a movie.
I'm just saying. That's why I don't like it. I like logic in my slashers, and there's just no logic.
No, that's 13 3D. Come on, man. Come on. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we pretty much did that one. That was your number 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my number 7, Freddy versus Jason.
Okay. Damn. Mine is actually the remake.
Holy shit. What? I am so your Freddy versus Jason nostalgia must be through the roof then.
Well, because Freddy versus Jason's number 6. I got to be honest. It could have been 7, but 6 makes sense based on just my history, and it does hold a little more.
That's. I mean, you saying it, my first thought is personal attachment versus because like in terms of us comparing the quality of the films. I mean, I can just think of us talking about them. You definitely praised the remake a lot more than Freddy versus Jason. So that's the thing that threw me off.
The remake's a better movie, but Freddy versus Jason, that was the end. That's the end. That's the end of the Freddy run. It pairs them up. The style and tone is just a very high school thing for me. So yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So then what's your 6?
No, we got to go 7. Wait. We're talking Freddy versus Jason because you.
Because mine's okay.
Yeah, you talked your number 6, so we got Freddy versus Jason to discuss. And no, I mean I agree with your points. So that's what I was mostly just curious because I know you love the remake like I do, and so you ranking this one higher than the remake surprises me because I think the only stuff that you and I have discussed about Freddy versus Jason is how much you dislike the Friday the 13th elements of it. So that's what threw me off with it. But personal connection makes a big difference.
Yeah,
that's why rankings are fun.
And I wouldn't actually. So originally, I didn't have this movie on this ranking list because I always would put it. I kept it on the Nightmare on Elm Street. That being said, it's all we've ever gotten, these two facing off. And though they didn't nail Jason like I loved, there is just something special about the wacky over the topness of this and the era it came out that I was just happy as hell. And you made a very good point. I can't really see, outside of maybe some clothing and some hairstyles, 2000s like nostalgia, or in terms of like I because I was in it, I have a hard time defining like the vibe of that, where it's like I could tell the vibe of the 80s and the 70s than the 90s a lot more because I was younger and I was just more, I guess in tune. So there is stuff in this that just really like takes me back in a way I didn't think it would, purely just based on like the vibe of that movie. I'm like, oh, I remember me being excited that this vibe was in a major motion picture, not some cult film thing, like in a big movie theater, blood splurting of like it's a hose and shit, like that kind of over the topness charmed me a lot more than I remember it doing. So, and let's be honest, Gavin, this is the last Freddy we ever got, a true Freddy, and that's not Jason. I give a shit, but like, they're both in it, so I got to rank it for that, and him bringing it out and how Jason is brought into this story, I think is very clever and better than every other pitch that I've heard from this movie. I like how they use Jason as a conduit that gets out of control. I think that's a cool concept. I really do. I would like to see more of it, but that's like.
Have you ever read the original screenplay?
No.
I highly recommend you do, and any of our viewers as well, or listeners. That's how I say viewers. Yeah, because there's a lot of very, very good elements in it, and they even have Tommy Jarvis in the end, and there's, I don't know, they just, it's the Camp Crystal Lake construction company. They just do a lot more with the lore, and I think it works very, very well, to the point where once I read it, I was like, oh, so all the stuff I dislike is either Ronnie Yu or studio. Good to know. That's why I stopped. I used to blame Shannon and Swift for a lot of the stuff I didn't like in the movie, and then I realized that, oh yeah, it's not them. They love the franchises just like we do.
New Line definitely like put their thumb on the scale and made their side a lot better for sure.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'd have a hard time not doing the same if I were them. 'Cause it's like, this is the house that Freddy built, so we gotta put a little more on our side. But no, I mean, it's enjoyable, and I mean, my favorite kill from the whole thing is the bed death with Trent he gets folded in half. I remember it. I have a bad back, and any time I watch it, I'm like, oh.
I agree. In fact, that is the kill that put the smile on my face and made me realize like I'm in good hands. Because up until that moment, there was no guarantee. People are very confident now, but like I was nervous watching this movie. I was excited because I it was coming out. I got to see these two icons face each other, but I was not some young, bushy-eyed, or was it bushy-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid where I was like, oh, it's going to be great. I was, I was in high school. I was cynical. I was like, I don't know, man. This could be really lame, real dumb, real just Alien vs. Predator-ish, which I know came after, but I'm saying, but like, that's exactly what this could have been. And so when he stabs him over and over and then grabs both ends and folds them in half, I was like, okay, they at least get the most important part, which is we need to have inventive, fun, bloody deaths. And that to me was the start of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, too bad. I think it's unfortunate that was the crescendo and essentially the second death of the movie, but so that aspect kind of sucks.
Yeah, but they still, yes, I guess it was a little front loaded, but I still think
I love a ramp up.
I know, but the kills continue to be sort of over the top and bloody and ridiculous, and though that might be the best, it's not like he just goes and stabs a bunch of people with a knife, like it's part 2.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'm out of my negative Nancy mode because now we're into all of the films that I absolutely love. So your number 6 was Freddy vs. Jason. Mine is part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Mine's not there yet.
I figured. Number 5 for you
is Jason X.
Okay, so Jason X, I guess I'll go first since I ranked it lower. I really enjoy this movie. Something about this viewing didn't land with me as much as pretty much all of my other recent viewings, which mostly is the reason I think it ranks lower than Freddy vs. Jason. It wouldn't be above anything else, but the Freddy vs. Jason and Jason X, those were really two that were dependent on this specific watch through, because I was very much just trying to go off of, well, what am I feeling now? And Jason X has a lot of really cool stuff, and I love Canadian sci-fi, and so it's very appealing to me with that element, which also too, since we did the Jason X episode, I am like 4 seasons into Star Trek The Next Generation. So I think I'm going to love going back and visiting Jason X even more, because I'm just going to suddenly notice Star Trek things that I didn't notice before. So that element makes me excited for my next viewing. But no, I like this movie, and that's essentially from Jason X on is just me absolutely loving all of these films. So
yeah, Jason X is something I've defended for a long time, just because I think it gets a lot right. It's funny, the thing that I like about the least is the Canadian sci-fi vibe. My dad and sister loved that stuff growing up. I just never connected. So it is my downside. But I just, outside of him being more human, which, as I've said in the past, I prefer my Jason more zombie.
Yeah.
But him being human aside in the Canadian sci-fi vibe, I think this gets everything else right. The kills are cool. Jason's intimidating. It has a similar humor, if not maybe a tad turned up more than part 6, but I think this is the closest in tone to part 6. I will fight that the day that I die. This is the only other one that's like more meta and self-aware, maybe to a fault. But I think everybody knew what they were doing with this. What?
I'm still thrown off with something that you said. Human Jason.
Yeah.
What? This is zombie Jason.
Nah,
Jason X? This is zombie Jason.
Now, I wish that to be true. Now he's on death. He can't be killed, but like the whole thing about him regenerating cells, that's why he has like a full head of hair and he just has normal skin. I also think it's that Kane didn't want to go into makeup. That's my theory. But no, he's not rotting. He's not zombie. He's a full head of hair. Healthy, great looking skin. Got shine to him, Fucking.
He's got regenerative capabilities.
Yes, but
he's still zombie mode.
I don't like that. Zombie is like dark-eyed, rotting Jason to me. This is he's regenerated so much that he's human looking.
But his wispy like Hulk Hogan doll's hair, like what?
I mean, I don't like that look a lot. It's not my favorite, but I'm saying
it looks like a zombie.
I disagree. It just looks like he looks like an ugly man with good skin. But whatever. They do well. They understand the character. They know exactly what we should have. I think the humor is fun outside of a couple things. This was very respectable. And I just think that people can't get over the sci-fi aspect of it and the space thing. I think it just makes it lamer than it is, but they actually use it to their advantage and actively write for it instead of just plopping them somewhere and that just being the backdrop.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it definitely. You brought up a good point when we recorded the episode itself, where you said that Jason, like Uber Jason, is hardly even in it. It's always a big criticism of people, Uber Jason, but he shows up in the final 10 minutes. Yeah,
which is enough. It's cool. But yes, if you don't like it, it does ruin the movie.
Yeah, which I think too. I think people. I mean, there's a reason that eyewitness testimony is such bullshit. It's because people just have really, really bad memories. And I think the main image that stands out to most when it comes to Jason X is that cover where you can see it's one half of each of their faces. You have regular Jason and the other half is Uber Jason. So I think that then people just in their mind are just like, oh, yep, he's in the movie. Half of the movie is normal Jason, half is Uber Jason. It's just like, no, that's not the case in any way.
It would have been the best marketing technique if they just never released that and it was just a fun twist in the last 10 minutes. I think it would go over a lot better because again, now it's in the poster. It's like, oh, he has this sort of like weird look where if it's only 10 minutes and comes out of nowhere, you might be like, oh, that's fun. And then
it was the main marketing thing for this.
Yeah, they make it look like it's the movie and it's not, which is better for it, but bad marketing.
Terrible marketing, but this also sat on the shelf for 2 years because they didn't know what to fucking do with it. So
that was my first theater experience, Jason. So,
well, speaking of which, do you think that had this film released when it was supposed to, do you think that you would have seen it in theaters?
What year would that be?
99.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was 96 where I started really going to theaters a lot as a little kid, and then up until 2000s, that was like my era.
Nice.
No cell phones. All right. What?
Well, we got to do favorite kill.
Oh, well.
Come on.
It's going to be the freezing the face and smashing on the counter. It's iconic and it is really probably the best kill in the series. It's mean. It's creative. Kane sells it. The chick sells it. Everything about it's great.
Yeah, I can't agree more. It's phenomenal. And how he throws her body to the side at the end. I love it so much. And also too, this isn't required for a best kill, but I always love when there's a great behind the scenes story connected to one of these kills, whether it's the sleeping bag death, whether, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of increases the lore of it. 'Cause then when you see it, you just think of it. And so I did the same thing with this kill because they have a whole special. They have a great behind the scenes special on this. Kane was very, very hands on with everything. And the lady that got killed, she was like, she was very adamant that he was an absolute sweetheart. So I think it's hilarious that when someone's murdering you on camera, that then someone can say that about you.
I mean, yeah, when he grabs her and drags her over, it has a nice, tense struggle. You know, he like almost accidentally grabs her boob, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where you're like, oh, is Kane one of those people that other actors don't like because he's too violent? So then hearing this kind of stuff where it's like, yeah, it just shows what a good actor he is.
Yeah, agreed. And I think this is his favorite kill, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yeah, from what I remember. I'm not sure if it was him just talking in context of Jason X or the whole franchise.
I feel like I've seen either interviews or him at conventions where he mentions it. So I feel confident that it's, I think, in all his favorite kill, which would make sense because it is the kind of kill where I'm like, that's a Jason kill.
All right. So then my number 5 is Friday the 13th, part 5, A New Beginning.
Okay.
So you had already listed this, so we finally get to talk about it.
It was my number 9. Look at you at number 5.
I've had this ranked as high as number 1. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I had an epiphany with this movie at one point where I realized that it is a fucking brilliant slasher, and the fact that Jason is not in it cannot dissuade me of that. There is just so many good kills. There's so many good moments. There's just, I cannot say enough good things about the momentum of this movie. It just goes at such a pace. This is when I think of a Friday the 13th to show friends, this is one of the first ones I think of because it is so much fun. Because to bring it up again, Danny Steinman, he had his priorities very out of whack, which made for a very interesting movie.
It's funny. I'm sure we talked about it, but I think you love this because it takes 1 and 2 and does it better. It's no, it does. It's a POV whodunit.
1 does 1 better. Don't you dare lump 2 in.
No, it doesn't. Far better. It has.
I won't allow you.
It has, at least the guy looks like Jason. At least it has a hockey mask. He's running around doing things. But the kills are cool. I do like the nudity's fantastic. But it is, to me, like a soft reboot, going back to the style, though, of, I think, 1 and 2, which is that sort of POV whodunit, even though, you know, I guess it's a twist because it's Roy, but it's like, okay, but it's Jason up until it's Roy. As I've said before, Roy busting through doors and obliterating them is not a paramedic, but whatever. I'll play the game.
Yeah.
I have it.
Still acts like Jason.
Yeah, I have it lower just because, in all honesty, it isn't Jason. So to me, that's a cardinal sin. But it used to be next to Jason Goes to Hell, so it's been climbing up for me personally. I think the big thing for me is I don't like the POV aspect of any of the early movies. So this going back to that after number 4 makes it rank lower for me personally.
See, and I love a whodunit. It's my favorite kind of slasher. And so, it's very prominent in a whodunit, a lot of POVs. So I think that's just one element that it doesn't even register for me. Because I'm like, yep, ooh, cool. Who is this killer? Because then you get to like pierce out, like you have to start to break down all the little elements, just like because they do a similar thing in part 2, because you don't see him fully until the big reveal at the end, where then it's like even he's approaching the one girl and you can see the blackened nail, little details like that, where then you're like, oh, like it just adds a little more intrigue, which I mean, I don't mind. I love Jason, but You can't do that with Jason. Jason's a character. You can't, if you do POV, you're essentially getting rid of your biggest asset. So I like this because it allows the franchise to return to its roots while still getting to play in the similar playground that would then become prominent later on with our hockey mask wearing compadre.
It tries to have its cake and its too. I don't love it, but I'm not going to fight this because, again, I like it a lot more than I ever have. I've defended it on, Joe Blow Horror Originals before. So it is a movie that is definitely warmed with me over the years. So and that's a lot because people still treat this, maybe less now, but at least growing up, people were mean. I was mean, but like people were real mean. I mean, people rank this a lot of times below Jason Goes to Hell. And I think that is the dumbest thing ever. For this not having Jason in it, it is more Jason than actual Jason when he's going.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about how there's been a lot of just people kind of re-examining the series, which I mean, we are too, but people with there's a big change. It's happened with the Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Friday Part 5. And I think that even because you claim for Part 2 as well. So, and Halloween 3 too. Mm-hmm. So there's these different films that have then just gotten a new appreciation. And I think that it's always, that kind of thing is always going to happen because there's just always, context is very important when watching any kind of film. And so for me, I love slashers. A big element of slashers is a POV, or the POV shots and the whodunits. So this appeals to me. You love Jason. He's your man. So the fact that
he's my guy,
he's not in this. So I get it. I get it ranking lower for that alone. I will not abide by your slander towards Part 2 and will call you out every single time you do it.
Well, we'll be getting to that soon, I hope. Which is funny because I don't dislike Part 2, but it's where it is for a reason. Okay, so then we're on 4, no?
No, we need a favorite kill.
Oh my God, dude. Keep forgetting about this. Okay. Well, I love the kills in the beginning. I would say I have a split, so I'm going to be a little different. It's going to be Tina, beautiful lady. God bless, America here. The shears to the eyes.
Fuck is Tina?
She's the one where she has a great nude scene. Her and
you really threw it around on me. I'm usually the person that knows the names, and then you're immediately like, "Oh, Tina's scene." I'm like, Tina from Part 7.
I looked it up. So they have sex, and then the guy immediately has to go and pee like a mile away. It's that scene.
Yeah.
And so she gets the shears in the eyes, and then he comes back, and there's a leather belt thing against the tree that kind of crushes his head. I actually put those two kills like lumped together because it's one after another, and usually we don't get a ton of those. So to me, it's like that's one kill.
Yeah, I would understand that. Okay, I just thought of something I want to posit to you. So one of your things, you were very annoyed with Freddy versus Jason that the Trent was killed, but then Jason just left Gib in the shower. The Jason would murder Gib. He would
bust open that door and throw her against the mirror for sure.
Yet here, even though it's not Jason, he sure as shit acts like Jason. So as much as your big dig against this is that it's not Jason, I would argue it is until the twist.
No, I in the review, that was my big positive, which is the reason I like it more now is because to me, it seems like it was Jason until a third act rewrite. I know that's not the case. Yeah. But it does act like it because they do break a lot of like rules with him being just a dude, a paramedic. Absolutely. My big thing, honestly, with it not being Jason is the POV stuff. I don't like that. I kind of get annoyed. The kills are cool, so it does keep me going. But I'm like, I know what he looks like. We had four. Like, just show him the entire time and then still have the twist. We could have it both ways, but they're trying to be like, maybe it's not him. Maybe it's somebody else. And then it's like, oh, no, it is him. But it's not. I'm like, come on, dude. Come on.
This is now just I'm now going to think anytime I see a POV shot, I'm just going to be like, oh, Lance hates that.
I don't like a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like a lot of them. I don't like puzzles, and I'm not a big whodunit guy. I'm like, closest I got was like 10 Little Indians.
Yes, I was just about to say, did you not grow up on some Agatha Christie?
I did like that. I thought that was cool, but it also has that sort of mystery mansion on the water and that kind of vibe I like the Castle Rock vibe. So I think that adds a lot to it. Scary water near mansions and hotels against the Bodega Bay and I don't know, Puppet Master. I like that look. So I do like that, but I normally I'm not a big whodunit guy in serious stuff usually. But I also think Clue is one of the best movies ever made. So yeah, for everything I'm going to tell you, I could contradict myself.
God damn, yeah, you just threw a wrench into it all with that statement.
It's because I'm eclectic, so I don't abide by strict rules, dude. I don't know. It's hard.
Well, I would agree with you too. Tina's my favorite, if you can lump in the other one as well, that works really well.
Little bonus,
like that pairs well.
She's gorgeous girl. Gorgeous.
I mean, it's just the idea, because
Snaps.
It's one thing. The shears going in is one thing, but it's this bone being snipped, and you can like hear it. Oh, that's what gets me. And then you get to see the aftermath, and so well done. Because technically we don't see. It's like now that it's not like we see the shears go in. It's all implied,
but done well.
Yes. I always hate too, where it's like, it's not like I need to see everything. It just needs to be done well. The execution needs to be done well. Execution's done well here. So that's why it doesn't bug me that we didn't actually see it in action.
5 is really good about execution. It's one of the guy cared about boobs and kills. And you know what, for this series, well done. Because, I'm not trying to have an intricate deconstruction of poverty in life. It's just give me those two things.
Yeah, agreed. So what is your number 4?
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Nice. This is such a fun one. This is one of those movies I thought of it during this last viewing, is if Shout Factory does one of those bullshit things where they're like, we're gonna release the Friday the 13th films on 4K individually. I'm not gonna rebuy the whole series. For some reason, this one stands out to me as one that I would want to own in higher definition.
I unapologetically love this movie. It's fun. I think, I feel there's obviously very true and tried complaints about this, and I'm not going to fight. But I do get a little annoyed this late in the life that, a complaint is New York, where it's like, I understand that, but this is made in the late 80s, so get over it. Like, that's not the movie. It's just not the fucking movie. But I still think a boat is an interesting, confined place, but a killer. I like different scenarios of where to drop people. I think locations are interesting. This is fun, man. It's fun. And they were smart enough to know that their kills going to get edited by the MPAA, so they made them more blunt force trauma. And I think for the most part, the execution on these kills or the execution is well done. For the most part. Yeah. I don't know. And fucking Ed Kane. Kane looks cool, man. I love the mask. I like his slimy look. He seems angry and wet. What a great time. Fuck, people are dumb.
It's like the best mask, I think.
Love the mask.
I think we said it on the episode, but I need to start actually seriously looking into it. I need a Jason mask. I need it to sit like on my shelf. I need it up there because I don't know. I mean, technically I do have a light up Jason mask thing, which now that I look at it, it does look very similar to the Part 8 design, but I think it's more of the remake that it's supposed to be a design of. But
I follow a guy on Instagram who does personal Jason masks, and they look amazing, man. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to you off air. But it's I agree. I love the look of 8. The mask is beautiful. It's slightly yellow because of the water. I just like how the eye holes kind of sit. Just something about it. it's creepy and it's a cool design for being somebody who's not creepy. At this point, I'm actively rooting for Jason the entire time.
Yeah, this is where that comes into play.
He drives a boat
the whole time.
He drives the boat. You know, like he kills, but it's like, okay, well, I got to get from A to B, and so like he keeps it like under the allotted speed, stays on the right side of the channel marker, and and properly drives.
Let's say too that he, as much as that dumb Freddy versus Jason subplot of him being afraid of water came into play, let's think about this movie. Jason practically swims from I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the ocean to New York. He's not hanging off of that fucking lifeboat. Nope. Yeah, because guess what? If he was hanging off it, he's making his way up it to kill somebody. He's not going to just hang along for the ride. He's on a mission. So no, that dude is swimming.
Well, he could swim, but in my heart, this is like Weekend at Bernie's 2, where Bernie's at the bottom of the ocean. He's just walking because the music's playing. I think Jason's just walking. He just has a wide stride and he's just hustling through, man.
I like that more.
Yeah. Why Jason isn't doing over the shoulder breaststrokes. Come on, man. No, he's just walking fast like he always does. He makes good time.
Well, remember he is it in part 7 that he like walks out into the water slowly and then he like explodes out.
It's a great kill. Yeah, exactly. That's what I.
So it's canon. It's established. He goes down to the bottom and then he can propel himself up.
I've said before, and I've used that exact scene. Like when people are like, "Who's afraid of the water?" I was like, "Bitch, he's the first one in. What are you talking about?" Oh, it's his subconscious when he was a kid. It's like I don't think he was scared of the water as much as he was scared of drowning because he couldn't swim. You know?
Yeah. Which guess what? You know what you do when you're afraid of something? You fucking learn how to do that.
I am so scared of the ocean. I love it. I'm scared to death. And I've been getting into it, you know, the last 6 months to get over my fear of the actual ocean. So subconsciously, it's not that, what it's a stupid thing they put in Freddy vs. Jason just because Ronnie Yu didn't really understand the character and he needed some sort of element. Shit, it could have been sand. I've been like, he's afraid of sand. Makes sense. He's from New Jersey. He's never seen a desert. Sand is kind of scary. There's those scorpions. I get that. Water, it's like, no. He's in water half the time.
Jason is scared of neglectful fathers.
Yeah, he's more scared of sex. You know, like moaning. He seems to get him like kind of pissed off. I mean, maybe that you could say that.
Yeah, definitely seems to piss him off.
Ronnie, you.
What's your favorite kill from part 8?
There's a few in here that I thoroughly enjoy, but I'm gonna have to go with Julius. Giving it his all, getting his head knocked off, POV into the dumpster. It's almost like I could hear a crowd cheering. It's not gory, but I guess nothing in this movie is. That's just a cool death. Yeah. That's a cool death. Somebody like makes a stand. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very cool one. I always enjoy that one. My favorite would be the sauna death because I cannot get into a sauna without thinking of it. Literally every single time I see a sauna, I picture Jason walking in, fucking grabbing one of the goddamn rocks every time. And I love too how the flesh lights on fire when he puts it in. Like there's so much about it that just, I love the execution of that kill. It works really well. My only criticism of it is that I wish that the character was a character. Like he's no one. No. He's the guy that loses to Julius in the boxing match.
Cannon fodder. But yeah. Fun movie. I know it's higher than most people would rank it, but I don't get the hate. I think it's cool to hate this one. I find it really hard because if you love the series and can have fun with it, then this is a fun entry. The only I think argument I could really see is if you're, and I've met people like this, there's old school people. It's like, I like 1 through 4, the good ones. I'm like, oh, okay, you can't have fun. Fair enough.
Like, oh, you're a Gen Xer. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Like you grew up with them, so then you're all you were all pissed off about part 5 and pissed off at part 8.
I get it. It's I try to look at the Bowie effect for everything, but I get it. Sometimes living through things just makes you bitter. So fair enough.
Yep. Agreed. I'm sure there's going to be a whole generation of people that enjoy the dumb Blumhouse horror movies that I can't stand.
Absolutely. And you're going to be some grumpy old man yelling at the cloud, dude. Fuck, and you don't like imaginary Tyler, you can't have fun. Like, it's not good.
God, if anyone tells me that, I'll just fucking tell them to fuck off. Worst movie in existence. Okay. Friday the 13th part, or the remake, I should say, is my number 4.
Okay.
So we can.
Yeah, let's talk. It's my number 7.
Yeah, I rank this very high. I love this movie. I a lot of what you were saying during the Freddy versus Jason section could be applied to this film for me.
Because it's yours. It's yours, right?
Yep. This came out my senior year of high school. This is just my era in terms of these movies. And like, anyone knows high school, college time is just when you're in your zone, your pop culture zone.
Yeah.
So, and that's also when these movies are trying to represent like your generation. This is them really trying to represent like my generation. And I think they do a really good job with it. I don't connect with a lot of the other teen elements in the other Friday the 13th. I connect with it more in like a nostalgia way of that, like, oh, I wish I had that. This I connect in like I remember doing that kind of thing. Oh, I remember doing that. Yep, I remember doing that. So there's kind of extra stuff that kind of appeals to me in a way that I could understand someone else not loving. But the Jason stuff in this is so fucking good that I will not hear any slander regarding this movie, because even if you don't have that same personal connection like I do, the Jason stuff is so fucking good. You can hate these characters and that's fine, because the Jason stuff works and he kills all of them. So
they get it right. They were wise enough, if they're going to remake it, to do sort of an amalgamation of the first few movies. I'm pro zombie Jason. I don't like human Jason. It's not my thing. But I accept it in this one because it's going for that vibe. So I'm like, okay, you set off right away to say that's the vibe we're going for. And as a reasonable human being, I'm going to give you a chance. And what did I see? I saw clearly a script and a director and a hell of an actor with Derek Mears, fundamentally understanding what makes this series good and fundamentally understanding the character. Though it's different, I don't like these taking hostages. Fair enough. I don't give a shit that he's setting traps. That makes sense for a woods-born little child that somehow was alive and it drowned and whatever. Who cares? The kill's great. It's intense. It takes itself serious enough, but also has a few moments of humor. Maybe not as much as I would like, but overall, I think this is an amazing movie. I was very happy to see it in my 20s. I do not get the hate on this. I just don't. It stems from it just being a remake and people having a weird hard-on, pardon my French, for hating remakes. But I would put this up there with Evil Dead in terms of movies that are so good that I just consider them their own entity. You know, I don't think this is a remake. I think of it's just like an off sequel.
Yeah, it's that level of you would almost a similar boat would be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it's so good, where like when I say the remake is so good, the Marcus Nispel remake, where yes, back when it came out, it's like, oh yeah, this is just a remake. Nowadays, I'm like, yeah, it's just a part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I don't consider any of that. I mean, if anything, I consider that new Netflix piece of shit to be more of like a redo kind of thing versus the old remake.
Hold on. We actually got to talk about that movie sometime soon, because I had such a blast with that stupid movie. I'm sorry. No, watch it again. It is so stupid that it's impressive. I was like, I think I'm in on the joke. I think somebody was fucking pulling some sort of Andy Kaufman sort of entry and nobody caught on. I swear it is amazingly stupid, and people did not see its brilliance for being as dumb as it was, but we will have to talk about it eventually.
That could be the case, but I'll just say that when that movie came out, I was very much into the series, as in like I had recently had turned a page over with the Next Generation, which has always been dogged on, and I love that movie so much.
I've always loved it because fucking Matthew McConaughey steals the entire scene.
Dude, he's so good in it.
As the entire movie. I'm sorry, I said scene, but I was thinking like, no, he is absolutely, yeah. Well, we got to get in that movie because that's one of them that, yeah. Once I think I was like smoking pot in high school, where I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. This is an awesome movie.
Oh, we're definitely going to have to do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. I mean, it's going to be a dredge to get through, and like probably will put us in a bad mood. But
a lot of those movies suck, but we don't have McConaughey saying all right in a lot of movies that aren't Dazed and Confused. So let's give some Next Generation some ridiculous love.
Do we not? I think that kind of just became his thing in the 2000s.
I feel like it's special in this movie because that is not a part of his pop culture.
Dude,
maybe later on. He's
literally part of the Illuminati, and he has robot legs.
Yes, I know, it's amazing. And he like screams about like food and pizza, and he gets in Renee Zellweger's face and spits on her. No, it's
all right. Yeah. What's your favorite kill from Friday the 13th remake?
Ooh.
I think I have one.
You know what?
Well,
holy shit. Yeah, okay, go first. I have a couple that I would pick. Go for it.
So, yeah, there's so many good ones in this, but there's something about the opening with those kills that I really, really appreciate, and how the one guy gets his leg in the bear trap, and he sees his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He sees his girlfriend burned alive in a sleeping bag, and then like Whitney comes up to him, and then he sees right behind. And I love they do the Dawn of the Dead reverse shot where it's like there's a cutout in the machete, it's placed on the guy's head, and then they do the reversal, like they pull back. It looks so good. I love how that looks, and yeah, it works really well for me.
No, I can't. You know what? You nailed it, because I had a couple that I really like, but I for some reason was not thinking clearly, because I know that we talked about in our last episode that was the moment that I knew that I was in good hands. You know, Freddy vs. Jason, we had a similar vibe. This comes along, it's a remake. We're in 2009. We haven't had a Jason movie in years. I'm cynical as can be. And he has the bear trap, and you see his muscle. His girlfriend burns to death. She's screaming. He's realizing everything's going to hell. And then Jason puts a machete in his face, and it cuts to a title card.
It's so good. I mean, the title card cut works really well. I mean, if what's her name died, if Whitney died, that has potential to be a great kill, because I love the angle on it, but she doesn't die.
She should have died. So it makes no sense. In my mind, she's dead, and then he doesn't have a hostage. That would have made the movie better, but whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, so what's your, because we didn't do your number 4, right?
My 4 is Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, okay. So now we're on to number 3. So I'm gonna take the reins on this one. Friday the 13th Part 6. Jason Lives.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
Yes. I went a little off book. I think most people rank this even higher. What's your number 3?
Mine is The Final Chapter, which I assume.
Number 2, Friday the 13th, Part 2. Oh my God. So we finally get to talk about Part 2.
Yeah, all right, go for it.
It's my number 2, but it's your number 11. So I think you need to start, because you're the one that's going to get into some negatives.
I like it more than I ever have. I've grown. It's grown on me, I should say. I've grown to appreciate it. Is it Ginny? Who's the chick? I'm bad at names.
Yep, Ginny.
I think she's fine. She's fine. I don't love her like everybody else does, but she's fine. And really, her pissing herself, I think, is a weak move. Listen, it's the kills are fine. The camp counselors are decent. It's POV shit, and then he has a dumb bag in his head, and I just think Jason moves really goofy in this. His running at the end is just kind of lame. It's not my Jason. It's not. I like the. How about this? I love the idea of the shack. I love Hillbilly Jason just in terms of like aesthetics, and I think the remake does that better. I get that out of the remake. I get what I don't have here out of the remake. It's just, to me, it's my version of it. Here, it's just a little lame. It's a little lame. So I don't hate it. I like it more than I ever have, but I used to rank it a lot lower, and it's moved up. It used to be I think I probably hated it more than the original, but it's better than that.
Why did your bashing of it have to include something about the remake, where now I have to bash something about the remake?
Because I think the remake did Baghead Jason better, personally.
I prefer the shack so much more than
cool.
anything we've seen.
Shack's cool.
The shack is incredible. The shack works so well within the context of everything around.
I agree on the shack. Let's move. Give me something else. I agree. The shack's awesome. I'm pro shack.
You were just bashing the shack.
I know. I said I like the idea of the shack aesthetically, but I think everything about the character and him being a hillbilly.
But you were trying to talk about that it's better in part 3.
Jason,
or not part 3 in the remake.
Jason is a hillbilly. Living off the land.
I took that as Jason's lair in the remake.
No. I'm not having a Shaq bashing conversation. I'm pro Shaq.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
Yeah, Shaq.
I like the Shaq, because if anything in the remake, that would be my one jab at it. Is it looks way too like Leatherfacey. Like this looks like somewhere Leatherface would be hanging out.
Agreed.
Jason.
No, agreed. But I'm saying Jason being sort of a hillbilly living off the land in the woods dude. I'm saying that the remake is more what I get out of that, where it's like a POV dude with a potato sack that's kind of goofy when he runs.
Oh, I love it. Even you saying, I literally just got goosebumps from you mentioning, because I pictured the scene of the cop driving up and Jason crosses the street and crosses the road in front of him. It's such a vibe, like something about it. I love everything about it. And I should say, because I haven't really talked about part 2 for this. So let me spew.
Go for it, buddy. It's all yours.
So part 2, I love slashers so much. Slashers are my favorite of anything that I am watching, like in the horror landscape. And this one just does slasher very, very well. Many of my complaints about the first film are how they just are. It's a lot of meandering and long takes that don't lead anywhere. I don't think that's present here at all. I think there's no fat. We are getting, every single scene has a purpose. They're trying to give us these characters, give us a little more layers to the characters. This is the best cast of potentially the entire franchise. Maybe part 4 beats it, maybe. But I talked about it too, the horniness of this movie. I love, and doing this podcast kind of made me realize that the horniness level of the movies is also a important factor for me.
Fair enough.
And part 2's horniness factor is not only very high, because it's high in part 7, but I just don't think it's executed as well. In part 2, it is just them being horn dogs, and they are paired off. It makes sense. It also makes sense as to how they're killed. The geographic location of Jason makes sense for how, like, the progression of the kills, which is important to me. It's very important to me.
I'm rolling my eyes so hard I almost fell in my chair. The geographical location of Jason.
I'm telling you, it was my one flaw. It's always my one flaw in the remake with the uncut version, is it ruins the geographic location of Jason with Whitney getting out, because then it just throws too many wrenches into where he would be at certain moments. I need that. I need it to make sense. Maybe it's the scream in me of like, no, that person, if they're revealed as the killer, then they need to logically make sense to be in this location at this time.
No,
so
I gotta fight you.
That's a big deal for me.
I agree with you when it's human. I guess I'm more open because at this point, Jason just, Like a monster, but okay, fair enough, man. Yeah. And you love that dumb sack on his head, that fucking potato thing.
Yeah, I think it works real well. I like identity for my killers, and so anything I'll take. I don't have as big of an issue with the Friday the 13th qualities not being quite as present, because I think they are present in different ways. They just aren't there in the same context of Jason, because like I said earlier, Jason being a character is very important for the franchise and the identity of the franchise.
Yeah.
He is not as much of a character here because they are still trying to do the mystery angle, and it's still a question as to whether or not this is Jason that's the actual killer. So I understand that element. However, I think that they do the kills right. They do the nudity right. They do, for me, I saw that look. The nudity in this film is great. The nudity is awesome. These girls are all super hot. Every one of them.
Yeah, okay. I guess. I don't know. Now this ain't number 5, buddy. This ain't number 5.
Now, what? You think the girls in 5 are... I disagree. Wholeheartedly. I'll give you the remake. The remake, all the girls in the remake are gorgeous, but no. This one, I mean, every element I think works well. I like I guess as a negative, I don't like that it repeats the beginning or the end of the first film. Like I'll never like that in any of these. I don't like the recaps. No. Recaps bug me, but that's my generation. I don't need a recap. I'm not dumb. I remember things.
I mean, all right. Well, okay. Well, then what's your favorite kill? Because if I'm correct, I don't remember being in love with these kills, but please enlighten me.
In terms of the kills, I mean,
oh, look at this.
My favorite, I know, I'm going to say, because I mean, it might not be a favorite of everyone's, but I like because they steal it from Twitch of the Death Nerve. It's the double impalement. I love these two are having sex. It's like, oh, there's one penetration and then another penetration. I just like the concept of it. It works very well. I like how it's shot.
Okay. Right. Yeah, it's fine. A little double.
What about you?
Oh, it's going to be Mark. When he gets machete to the face and he goes down like 80 flights of stairs. It's essentially, this is a naked gun death. It's just like, what are they on some sort of mountaintop? What's all these stairs? And he's like, da, 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 and the wheelchair. It's great. It's great.
No, yeah, you're right. I have to change it. It is the wheelchair death. I like the duel, but yeah, the wheelchair death is, I would put that as one of my favorites in the whole franchise.
Yeah, it's iconic. It's
Plus,
iconic.
I mean, they have the balls. They have the balls to kill off a disabled guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's the 80s. I don't know if that would happen now, but I especially in such a ridiculous way. Like, he dies, but then he's rolling down the stairs. So it's like, oh, this poor guy is. I guess I'm not going to say that, man.
Oh, speaking of which, I can give a little bit of a callback to our Friday the 13th Part 2 episode. I said that I would look at the Friday the 13th game to see if that logically would even make sense for Mark to get the machete and then go downstairs. And yep, they account for it in the game. It makes sense. There's stairs right outside of that little spot. And yep, it's not as high as I logically would think, but it works. It's one of those things where I'm like, yep, that would make sense. All you need is a low angle on the camera.
We're talking about is this a board game? What are you talking about? I don't remember this conversation.
So we had talked in Friday the 13th, the game, the
board game or the video game.
The video game that you can move around in. Because I was like, I don't remember that there's stairs outside of that, like on that map, but I did confirm that there are.
Okay.
So,
okay. Oh, I own the game. I should know that, but yeah, it's life.
I mean, to be fair, that's just like one section of a very large map.
I want to explore now, you know?
Oh, that's one of my favorite things to do in that game. I'll set 8 victims, hardest difficulty, and then I just roam around. My favorite is the Jarvis house from Part 4. I just like walk around the different areas, and then once I get my warning of like, you only have X amount of time, and I'm like, better go around and kill people, I've never lost a match of Friday the 13th against the computer.
I love the campaign mode. It's fun.
I haven't made it through the whole campaign mode. I'm stuck on there is a kill from Friday the 13th part 3 that it has you do that I haven't been able to complete. Something about it fucks up every time. I alert people when I'm not supposed to. So, but here we go. We have our number 1.
Wait,
right?
No, number 2.
You're part 2. You're part 2. Sorry, I forgot I went first.
My part 2 is Jason Lives.
Jason Lives.
Yes.
I ranked it lower, so I'll discuss. This is, I mean, I've had this at my number 1 in the past. It's a great movie. Everything about what was it Tom McLaughlin did is just top tier. I love just the aesthetic, the vibe. It has a Hammer horror vibe while still fitting promptly in with the Friday the 13th world. It's satirical while still just being another entry. It's a very fine line to walk that it's shocking that they are actually able to pull it off. There's a fine line where this doesn't come out as trite or just shit. So it's very impressive that they were able to not only make what is widely considered the best entry at number 6, but do so by breaking down what makes those movies what they are.
You are 100% correct. This walked a line so fine that it could have easily failed throughout the entire movie, yet it holds strong because it understands enough to be meta and sort of wink, but it still puts Jason as a ferocious, now undead, super strong, super shredder, basically, version of Jason. I think tonally it's my favorite. I think this is perfect. I think the kills are great. I love Jason's look. We have the black eyes. Like you said, Hammer influence for sure, especially like that graveyard stuff.
Yeah. Black eyes, but we do see his eyes.
Like when you zoom in at the punch in at the come on, you're giving me that one time.
No. That's not, I'm not trying to go. I'm trying to say though, because like you always are against the eyes, but we do get to see his eyes at various points in this film that they like get prominent placement.
A couple times.
But no, the opening. I'm saying the whole opening, like with him opening it. That's what I'm saying. Like we get as much as you hate the eye look, it works here.
Because it only works. It works because they zoom into it, so you know he's there. But when he's walking around, I'm saying like the look of Jason was just
it's still the black eyes.
Yeah, because to me that's scary, creepier. I found it more intimidating. But I was going to say I was looking up that why does this vibe work, and it reminded me of the vibe that Return of the Living Dead brought out, where it was still serious, it's still it had people you love die, but it was kind of winking at itself. But just
punk rock.
Yeah. And I think there's something a little punk about this movie. And it introduces us to, I think, the more iconic version of Tommy Jarvis.
Yes. Tom Matthews is, I love Corey Feldman, but he's never going to, as much as he fucking takes that machete to him, he's never going to stand up to a grown man version. So, and also, I've seen Corey Feldman as a grown adult. That's not my Tommy Jarvis. My Tommy Jarvis is Tom Matthews.
100% agree. 100% agree. Even if he was actively working against himself by being so foolish and dumb and emotional, I love the take, as goofy as it is.
Yeah, there's a lot with. I feel like everything. There's a reason that was our shortest episode. Everything about this movie has been said a million times, 1,000 times. Yeah. There's no argument that needs to be made to defend or to make our point about this film. It is simply one of those watch it and experience it. Experience its glory.
100% agree. 100% agree. I'm happy to see that of all the sort of revisionist history on a lot of these movies, that one is kind of held strong. Because with my luck, Gen Z or Alpha is going to be like, I don't really like part 6. And that's going to sort of change the narrative. I'm glad. I know, but it's possible because that's what happens when you get older. It's just like other generations take over. We're the reason The Thing is popular. It's because when we were, we all loved it in the video store. People saw it live, didn't like it for some stupid reason. So let's just accept that we both agree this is amazing. And for this time and place, it's still agreed upon throughout generations that it's great. And I want to hold on to that as long as I can.
Yeah, I hope that, I hope it maintains, because I don't know. Even you saying it, my first thought was, I've seen a lot of shit talk about Wes Craven's New Nightmare these days. And I'm just like, you watch your fucking mouth. It's like, just because everything is meta these days. It's like, no, that was 90s meta, before meta was even a thing.
And it still took everything deathly serious. And that is a good balance if done right. And that movie nailed it. So I don't want to hear any anti New Nightmare talk. I'll argue in public. Don't test me. I'll make a scene. I don't care. I don't have kids.
Agreed. Well, what's your favorite kill from this? I think mine would be the camper. I love the girl getting her face shoved through the camper wall. So
I actually, I had the same thing. I kind of put those two kills together. What's her face getting smashed through? The guy getting stabbed in the forehead, or not forehead, temple,
neck.
Or is it neck?
I guess I always considered it like a neck thing.
Well, how about this? From temple,
it could be anything.
Temple to neck, he gets stabbed somewhere in that vicinity. And
we don't see it, so that's up for interpretation. It could have been in the eye.
Yeah, but it flips over. The camera flips over. Jason stands on top, and it's the coolest, iconic look. That to me is rock and roll. That's punk. It's cool. It's Jason, I think, at his peak. If I honestly, at least aesthetically, like that type of shot. Same with like even the Bond opening. It's just, dude, it rocks. It rocks.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I love that movie. It was very close. It's part 2. Oddly enough, so part 2 was very much in its position. Like that was a sure thing. But I was actually swapping between 1 and 3. A bit, which is an odd thing of like switching between. You would think you'd be switching between your 1 and 2 back and forth, but yeah, for some reason my 1 and 3 was swapping. So my number 1, I mean, everyone knows it because it's the only one I haven't listed. Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that's people who grew up with this series. I think seeing it live, that tends to be their favorite one. There's a big fandom, so it's. I guess kind of adorable that you put yourself into that camp.
The biggest thing for me, the deciding factor was the characters. So the characters in Jason Lives, I don't really care about them outside of Tommy. So I'd even Megan, I'm like, it's whatever. She's quirky. But the final chapter, I love these characters. Every single one of them works out. Even the twins. It's like, I get it. I get their vibe. I get what they're doing. They're 2 British girls. They're fucking in New Jersey. They're just trying to have a good summer. Oh, these guys. Oh, let's try and fuck these people. So it's like even the people that they're kind of side characters, they still get development. Everyone gets development. Crispin Glover had just one of my favorite arcs in the entire franchise. I mean, this movie in particular, I can actually talk about character arcs, which outside of the final girl, do you really get to say anything about any character arc for anybody in these movies? So
no, not much.
No. And character is extremely important to me. Extremely. That is, I will watch a bad movie repeatedly as long as I can connect with the characters. That's all I need.
Okay, I got to throw this out there just because I got to make sure my opinion's out there. I agree 100% with you on that exact detail. Characters absolutely matter, except for me not in the Friday the 13th series. So I just want to throw that out there. Because I'm going to be essentially on the opposite side of that, which I don't care. So but no, you're right. Crispin Glover is a dead fuck. What's his face? Is Tommy Jarvis as a little kid. Peak era Goonies. This. Stand By Me,
spying on the girl when she's changing, and then she starts hooking up with her boyfriend.
He pretends to be asleep when his mom walks in. This kind of stuff. Yeah, I remember we turn off the You know, they'd be like the channel that like would be fuzzy but come in once in a while, you know, and then I turn it off and pretend I was asleep. We all did it.
Yep.
So
it's charming. It's that kind of stuff because you think of those kinds of moments for yourself and you're like, oh. So I also understand too that a younger generation, Gen Z, watches this and they're like, what? Why does he care about the neighbor? Like, open your phone and just look at the most disgusting, filthy thing imaginable. Like, what do you mean? Why do you care about this?
Kids today have no hunt.
Exactly. They have no thrill of the hunt. And also, if there's one thing that I have learned in my 33 years of life, it's the journey, not the destination. So how you acquire something can kind of be more important and can add more to both your self-identity and just your texture as a person.
Dude, 100%. I'm sorry, we always make fun of it, but it is absolutely the journey, not the destination. And as dorky as it is, it's also the friends we made along the way. I mean, I know we always make fun of it, but it really is just the beauty of life. So yeah, dude, 100%. Having everything so accessible, you wouldn't get the reference to this. It wouldn't seem charming. How excited you were. I mean, it's just a bygone era and we're still linked to that past. But yeah, I mean, give another 20, 30 years, that won't be the case.
Yep. So what's your favorite kill from Friday the 13th, the final chapter?
My go-to would probably be Jason, just because I think that the part where his face slides down the machete is just so iconic. And it's the first sort of monstrous face we've seen of Jason. Everything else has just been sort of like weird hillbilly. This has, because he was dead. I don't give a shit. People say, oh, he's not dead. He's dead in this one for sure. He wasn't holding his breath for 4 hours.
He's dead. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite. I mean, this or Crispin Glover's. It's not a machete. Was it meat cleaver to the face and the corkscrew to the hand? Though I think the Jason death is one of the most iconic things because this was at one point the end. So
yes, you make great points for both of those. And I absolutely agree that the Jason death is just great in this. But for some reason, part of my brain is like, no, I have to choose Jason killing someone. It can't be someone else killing Jason.
Okay, well, I gave my second. So what's your go-to?
Crispin Glover getting the meat cleaver. I'm all about that. I think that it is. I grew up on Back to the Future. It might be my most watched movie of all time. I've probably seen it 100 times. I'm not even kidding. I would come home from school, put on the VHS, and as soon as it ended, I would rewind it and start it again. And I mean, there's definitely weeks where I watched it a dozen times. Like, it's that kind of movie for me. So Crispin Glover was someone where I'm like, that's George McFly. So seeing George McFly get a meat cleaver to the face, and I didn't realize it was a corkscrew at the time, even though he says it. I think I even said in the episode, I thought it was just something that was like attached to the table itself that just got clamped down on him, and just it really stood out to me. And then also I think I add to the aftermath because he gets stigmatted on the freaking
door or the door
crucified
frame
on the door and then gets pulled off from Jason. Yeah, just total disrespect to that corpse. And so, yeah, that gets my vote because it's just brutal and I kind of lump it all in together.
And it makes me happy thinking that Jason had to like hold him up with his left hand while sort of using his one hand to nail in the one hand. You know, like just the logistics of Jason crucifying him is hilarious to only then rip him down. Like he did it for show and then was like, son of a bitch, I gotta get through here.
I mean, I've hung many things in my day. Hanging a body, that would just, the logistics, exhausting. And he does it quickly because all of this is happening pretty fast. So he sets up a lot of bodies very fast in this movie.
Yeah, this is like the beginning, or not, I don't know if it's the first. I don't remember. I'm sure he did it in 3. But I mean, this sort of artistic setting of people, I feel like, is more prominent in this one. not just
he was artistic in 2. He just brought them to his shack to make his collage, his corpse collage.
Yeah. But this being crucified, that takes a little. That to me is more artistic. Yeah. I think this is Jason that is most creative, and I really want to provide him a safe space to sort of to explore that. What else can you do, Jason? Where else are you going to put people?
Yeah, I'd like to see this. I'd like to see him do this more, because I would say that that's more of a quality that I would consider for a Michael Myers in terms of display kills.
Really?
Seems definitely like more of a Michael thing. I mean, you got to think. I mean, he displays damn near every body in part 1. That's like one of his traits. He loves displaying shit. So that's one thing I've always kind of paired with him. But even as you were saying it, I was like, I can't really say that reminds me of Michael, because it's more violent. Michael wouldn't crucify a dead body up on the thing. He would place it onto the right next to the door, so that then when they go out, it falls down on he would do that. He wouldn't do the violent kind of stuff. And maybe David Gordon Green Michael.
Yeah, but that Michael tended to be more Jason Voorhees anyway, which is kind of funny.
That was Jason.
Yeah. But no, dude, it's fantastic kill, and I agree. And it's a reverse too, because obviously Crispin Glover had him shitting on him and then looked away, or not the meat cleaver, I should say. I like that. I always like the look of the reverse. So
yeah, it looks great, and I mean, I don't know, it just works really well for me. And while we were talking, it made me realize what your number 1 is.
You had no idea what my number 1 is?
No, I'm saying it made me realize while we were talking during this, because I'm like, oh shit, yeah, we haven't talked about this film yet.
Nope. Well, I guess let's get to it. My favorite is Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Lara Park Lincoln, Kane Hodder, Terry Kaiser, Kevin Spiritus. I've always loved it. I just don't. I think it's fun. I don't give a shit about the MPA. It's cool. Jason's cool. I like Tina. I know you hated her, but I think
she's the worst.
She's just always crying, freaking out, and always depressed and stressed out, and then just has magical powers. It's cool. It's cool. Kills are fun, though they're neutered. There's a lot of hearts.
I just can't believe it's your number 1.
It's always been my number 1. This is the Jason that I think of when I think of Jason Voorhees. This exact interpretation, the rotting flesh, the bones, the mask, the cool fucking pirate face. Jason has an axe to grind in this like he's never had before. I would probably say this is his most angry. This is the breathing comes into play. Every turn is so aggressive. I just love it. I love it. I'm fully on his side. This is my super shredder.
I'm realizing that your ranking list could almost also be considered a Jason anger list, in terms of least angry to most angry.
Yeah, I don't need Jason taking his time. I need Jason. He needs to be like the Paul Kersey of this. I need him to be personally upset about something.
That's a reference I don't understand. Paul Kersey.
Oh, did I say that wrong?
Who's Paul Kersey?
Well, he's the guy from Death Wish, Bronson, who's just takes the most minimalist of crime and starts murdering people because he's just so pissed off that his wife was raped. So he has that sort of just vigilante edge. I want my Jason to just. Oh,
I'm sorry that I didn't know that random ass poll that you just had.
Are you not? Have you not got into the Death Wish series? My friend,
I've never seen them.
Holy
never
shit!
Seen them.
Okay, it is one of those series that gets I promise you, dude. It gets better as it goes along.
The Bruce Willis one.
What? Keep that fuck. Okay, you're being cute. I was gonna be a real fucking egg. No, Bronson. The first 2 are fine. They're good, but once Canon Film gets involved, it just becomes amazing. I'm sorry.
Sold. All you had to tell me was Canon. I'm 100% on board.
Peak Canon. All right, we'll talk about that. So yes, give me your worst. I don't care. I've been fighting this my whole life. I don't give a shit. I love it. We had a whole episode. It's my favorite. Always has been. You put fucking Bernie Lomax, Carrie, and Kane Hodder in a movie. I'm all in. Plus the dude from Subspecies 2 and 3, Mr. Kevin Spiritus. I'm in. You can't say anything. I love it.
Can I just say too, that was how I realized we hadn't talked about it. Because I'm like, God, how have we not talked about Bernie Lomax in this? And I'm like, oh, so we haven't done part 7 yet. It's like if when I think of the Friday the 13th franchise, I think of Mr. Terry Kaiser.
Terry fucking Kaiser.
So I will give you that.
Again, we made reference to Weekend at Bernie's 2, the lesser of the Bernies, of course, but still a solid movie where he's walking the bottom of the sea. That's what my Jason is. Yeah, exactly. And he's amazing. He's like the best bad guy of the series. We didn't even need him. We have Jason. We have Jason to gift me another villain in the form of Bernie Lomax. I mean, listen, life is short, but I got to exist in a time where Bernie Lomax was actually probably worse than Jason Voorhees in one place in time. Jason's killing people, sure, but like Bernie's being a complete douchebag, like for no reason. Jason's undead. I can't really vouch for his reasoning.
He creates an archetype that then follows on through various movies, both with Charles from part 8. And then, I mean, technically it might skip over a little bit with Jason Goes to Hell, but then with Jason X, you have that one principal type figure. They all have the same authority figure angle that are all riding off of the coattails of Mr. Terry Kaiser.
It was a great addition and something I want in all my movies. I want a second villain. Like, God willing, we should have had Dennis Hopper. Instead of being in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, he should have been some sort of asshole Frank Booth version in this type of movie, in one of these Fridays.
Oh my God, dude, you just made me realize I would love if they actually got the Creighton Duke character right by having, that you put Dennis Hopper, you put him in a similar role as his Texas Chainsaw Part 2, but that's someone I could see like having a battle with Jason in a fun way. Yeah, he dies in the end, but dies sacrificing himself to take out Jason for the time being. That's the kind of role that is. But
also batshit crazy.
Yes.
And kind of villain.
That's very important.
Can't think of his name right now. He's a great actor. I've met him at a convention before. He was the sheriff in House 1000, not House, what's the sequel called? Devil's Rejects. And remember the sheriff character, how essentially he was like almost just as bad as the killers.
Yeah.
But he was like the good guy. Like we need Dennis Hopper in that kind of role in a Jason movie where he's kind of the villain, but his whole tension is to take down Jason at any means necessary. So like, okay, he's a good guy, but he's doing bad things to get there. That would be a cool angle to take.
When did you meet him at? Sorry, I don't want to do a little aside, but I absolutely love William Forsythe.
Forsythe, yeah, that's him. The amazing show with Steve Buscemi. He was in
Boardwalk Empire.
He was in Virtuosity. He came up to Flashback Weekend a couple years ago when I went to go see the Manson brothers. They had like a table, and my sister actually ended up talking to William Forsythe for like half an hour. He like loved her.
Of course she did.
He loved her. They just like kept pitching, going along. I was like, oh, they're having fun. It was a good time. And it was actually that same convention that like I went. I think it's the second time I met Kane Hodder. I just was like, hey, I want to just like buy pictures, support you and all. And he had this little bottle of liquor. I don't know if it's tequila or whiskey, I forget. And I was like, what's that for? He goes, well, if people want to take a shot. And I was like, you serious? He was like, yeah. But he goes, I won't do it unless he had like a girl next to him. I think, I don't know if his wife or his friend that was doing stuff, that was handling stuff. He's like, well, I'm not going to do it unless she does it. And I was like, where are you from? And she was like a part of Florida that I used to visit a lot as a kid. So we talked about it for a minute, and then we ended up all doing shots with Kane Hodder.
What?
Yeah.
How have you saved this until our final Friday the 13th episode to say that you did a shot with Kane Hodder?
Because my memory is terrible, and there's a lot of like gold buried deep in a river of shit that somehow floats to the top. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I forgot about it until this moment. But me, my friend Brad, my sister, did a shot with Kane and his publicist or worker. But it was fun. They were real cool people. Yeah.
Dude, my coolest did a shot with story is Emerald Lagasse. You did it with fucking Jason Voorhees. Like, come on, that's incredible. Fuck yeah, man. I mean, dude. We have talked about 4 Kane Hodder movies on this show. How we talked about Friday the 13th for 20 something hours at this point. How did it take this long for this story to get brought up?
How about this? There's a friend of mine that me and him are big. He's my music buddy. We always talk music together. And there's a band we both absolutely love. And there's an album that he's never heard that I found like 5 years ago that I'm still waiting to bring up to him. I'm just waiting for like the right moment. I'm going to surprise him. So if I could hold on to that, this isn't that. I just forgot, but I'm just saying that I'm willing to hold things back for the greater good, for the ultimate punchline if need be. This is not that though. This is I just forgot.
Well, see, all of our listeners, this is what you're in for here. You never know when there's these wonderful nuggets of wisdom that Lance is going to drop on us.
I have a lot of good stories, but I'd like to save them. So, but he was cool. Got a shot. It was fun, and a nice guy. And then 7 rocks. Nice. 7 rocks. Fuck you. 7 rocks, man. You hating 7.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's. I don't hate 7.
Sorry, where's on your list again? I'm sorry, I misunderstood that. Where's on your list? What number?
9.
9. Okay, out of how many?
Out of 12.
Holy shit, 9 out of 12. It's where I put part 5. Who are you?
Yeah, dude, part 5 is amazing. What are you talking, dude? I like.
Fine. This is fine. It's 9.
This
dude.
is the.
9.
This is the beginning of the films that I don't mind. That's how I would categorize this.
Right, well, okay. I'm not here to just fight you on this. What is your favorite death, and why is it Melissa?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it. I mean, it's I like Melissa a lot for the death, but there's no blood. So it has to go to the sleeping bag death because I'm a big camper, or at least used to be. I camped a shit ton as a kid. So, I mean, it's just, I've been swung around in a sleeping bag by my older brother. I know how that feels. And having Jason do it with just turn you into soup with one fucking smack. I love that. What about you?
It's classic for a reason. It was brought back in Jason X. It was a big promotion part of the game. I'd agree with you just in terms of it being iconic, but Melissa being just the rich blonde bitch the entire time, and she just and I it's the setup of that I love the most, because the Judy being slammed against the tree is fine, but I didn't connect to Judy as much as like I connected to Melissa just being a cold-hearted bitch. When she's like, fuck you guys, and then she opens the door to storm out, and it's Jason, and he hits her in the face, and then aggressively throws her across the entire room. For her to like hit the lamp and go over the TV is such a disrespect to the character that got her comeuppance. It's just the most warm feeling I could have of like, okay, the bitch not only got killed, but insulted. And for that, I say thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about that kill. So I agree with you, even though I wish that I wish it was more violent. That's my main that's the movie gripe against it.
It's the movie. I can't change it. I could only accept it for what it is.
But even then, it is a bloodless kill. I just mean in terms of even like a squirt of blood would have been nice, because she is wearing technically white. So yeah, would have been nice to have something. But well, we have now gone through, ranked the whole franchise. That was, yeah, you're right. There was a lot that I was not expecting with those rankings.
I'm a wild card sometimes, Shove it to the back of the face.
I think the biggest thing that threw me off, though, is that we've talked about these movies for a long time. So it's like I thought I had a grasp on where you were at with certain things. So then it's like, wait, what? This one ranks this time? Okay.
I pride myself in being unpredictable. I'm sorry. That's a big thing about me. You think I'm going left, I'm going to go right. I am a natural contrarian in a lot of ways. But and here's the thing, though. Outside of Jason Goes to Hell and maybe the original, I do enjoy and will continue to watch all of these.
Yeah.
Even when I put part 2 as low as I did and talk some shit, like I like it more than I ever liked it. And to the point now where I think last Friday the 13th, I put it in my rotation, because it usually never ends up in there. It's just something I watch once in a while. But that's progress. I'm making progress.
I think me talking it up so much, I am just, when you look at your collection on your shelf, there's going to be that thought, just that my voice in the back of your head being like, oh, but the characters are really good. Oh, but this is really good. You're like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I will try that one out. Versus before where you're like, I don't have any reason to pull that one out. Now you're going to be like, oh, you know what?
Okay. I mean, I like it more. Ginny still pisses herself, and that's dumb. But whatever. It's fine. I like it more. I think 3D is a lot better than you think. You gotta chill out, man. Well, once you come over, we'll put in 3D glasses. I have a feeling those cheaply made, headache-inducing 3D glasses is going to work wonders. I think you're going to be like, hey, you know what? I'm having a good time.
Yeah, everyone's going to be able to hear my disappointment in real time. No, I'm sure I'll come around to it. I like bad movies, so I'm sure that's all that it takes is it to just switch, that flip to switch in my brain to switch to flip in my brain. Is that what? Yeah. But then
you're in your grumpy era. I understand. I've been in mine for a long time. That's fair.
Which can happen.
I'm sitting here talking shit, but trust me, there's movies that I take oddly personal for no good reason. So yeah.
Well, you and I have essentially just talked about the Friday the 13th franchise for, I think, a total of about 24 hours. So I'm going to say that I never in my life anticipated talking to someone about this franchise in such detail, but I wouldn't have wished to talk about it with anyone else, Lance. This was an absolute blast.
I agree. It was good to sort of go long term and dig into these more than I ever have. They've always just been fun movies for me, and I get a lot of warm, nostalgic joy. They're my comfort movies. So yeah, digging this has been fun, man. I'm a little sad that's over, but like you said before, it's not about the destination. It's the journey and the friends we made along the way.
Well, and I will say too, I don't think I'm going to be watching these in order anytime soon because I don't usually. So I think this was like this is going to be the last time I do this for quite a long time.
No, we've seen them too much. I mean, these are meant to be in shuffle. When
you're feeling it.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So one thing that I want to bring up too is that our listeners may have heard our wonderful theme song at the open and close of the show. Now, you and I both don't have any musical talent, or at least on the lower spectrum of it. So we had to ask someone to help us out with that. So Lance, can you fill our listeners into who did that?
Yes, an old buddy, a guy I've known since 4th grade, actually. That's crazy. My buddy Jeff Capecci is a musician by hobby, very smart music theory, just plays the instruments, he gets the vibe. And he did our song, Needlessly Nostalgic, for our intro. He's done The Awfully Good on Joe Blow Originals. Yes. He did that end song. The song I use in a lot of my videos, A Way In, he does. He just makes cool music. And, look him up. I think he has a few things online. Not a lot, because he's a perfectionist, but it's Jeff Capecci, Capecci. It is Italian, I believe. Either that or Nordic. I'm joking. It's Italian. I mean, it sounds Italian. But yes, he does good stuff. He rocks it out. And the fact that he was able to make that for us based on us, asking for something very 80s, the guy's
very loose description.
Yes, because I believe with music, let it go. Let it be.
And I will also state too that he submitted it to us. We were both blown away, absolutely blown away. So Jeff, if you're hearing this, it is such an amazing song. We love it so much. And then Lance received an email that was him apologizing for it not being good or not being what we wanted. Where it's like, excuse me, what?
Nah, I agree. Creative freedom is what I encourage with music, and I think the least amount of guardrails is possible, the better, because you get something
art
cool like that. So thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Much obliged, sir. Much obliged.
And I should say too, because this is not the end of the podcast. Next week we will have yet another episode. So the big mystery is, what will we be covering next? Will it be Leprechaun? Will it be Nightmare on Elm Street? Will it be Halloween?
We're not going to say?
No, we are going to announce what it is. I was more just leading on.
I was like, is this supposed to be a secret? Oh, you should have told me that.
No, I've already teased it on our Instagram. It was not supposed to be teased quite as well as in advance. I was trying to deal with scheduling posts and it didn't work. So it revealed it very early. But we will be covering the Carpenter whole filmography, which we say whole, but it's really only like about the same, like 13, 14 films.
Yeah, give or take. I'm bad at numbers. But yeah, we're going through every directorial film of the master himself, John Carpenter. And that's cool because you and me love John Carpenter, and there's a bunch you haven't seen, a lot I haven't revisited in a while.
I was going to say, with a caveat for me, because you've experienced most Carpenter. Myself, on the other hand, I consider him to be one of my favorites, but there is a shit ton of his that I have not seen. So this will be first time viewings for many of them for me.
Oh, that's cool. I'm excited. You having a blind spot on some of these movies actually brings me a lot of joy because even the bad ones, it's just, they were like VHS rentals. So hell yeah, man, we're going Carpenter. And it breaks it up a little because I love Jason. We did it. But Carpenter's filmography is more scattered.
Yeah.
And I think that will be fun for us to delve into just basically a carousel of different genres.
Yeah, I need variety. I was definitely starting to get worn down a little bit with the exact same kind of movie every single week, which I love the Friday the 13th franchise, but when you're dragging it out for 3 months, it can be a little tough on the psyche. So I like to switch stuff up a bit.
And we're here. We finished. They were at the end of a long journey. We're red heading over in that bus over that hill, you know?
When we're going to do things a little bit differently, we are not going to be following this in chronological order. Lance and I have decided that our first venture, despite it not being his first film, will be Assault on Precinct 13. So I'm pumped about that. And then essentially how we're going to do it at the end of Assault on Precinct 13, Lance is going to pick a movie, and then the end of that next episode, I'm going to pick a movie, and then back and forth. That way it just kind of, we get to play around with it in terms of, kind of what we're feeling. Because I can already tell you there's going to be certain movies that I'm going to want to get out of the way, and I'm going to try and save some of the good stuff towards the end, because I think that a lot of this, just the nature of like covering different franchises, it's diminishing returns. We almost are always going to be ending on a down note. So I'm going to take the opportunity to try and,
You're gonna talk about The Ward as soon as you can. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're basically admitting.
I'm actually excited for The Ward. There's actually multiple of his bad movies that I'm really pumped for, because I really like the really bad movies, but it's the middle ground that I'm worried about. So I've heard The Ward is really bad, so we'll see how that goes.
It's the only Carpenter I've never seen. I avoided it because I was like, I don't want to have that memory. Like I want to walk out on a high note, but it looks like you're going to take that away from me. So
I'm going to take it away from you. And we'll also, we don't have it finalized yet, but we are going to have guests for the Carpenter run. It might just be one guest spread throughout. It might be multiple. We're not sure, because we think that this kind of works a little better because I don't know. I personally think it's strange to have a guest come in when we're doing a franchise, because then they don't have the context of the rest of the franchise. So then they're kind of playing catch up. But when we're doing these where it's more of just sporadic films, I think it kind of makes sense to have a guest.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because they're all single entries essentially. So
yes. Yeah. Everything. He hasn't directed a sequel, has he? Not to my knowledge.
I think
he wrote Halloween 2.
No, he's only directed one sequel, and that was because of Kurt Russell, which is Escape from LA.
Oh, yep. Haven't seen Escape from LA, so that'll be a fun one.
Oh.
Yeah, we're in for it. This should be fun.
Oh, God, looks like both of us get to be sad.
Yep. But that's really all for this episode of Needlessly Nostalgic. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure that you leave a comment on our mainly on the Instagram. I want to know what your ranking for the Friday the 13th franchise is. That's the thing that I'm most curious about, because I think that there's a lot of intrigue there, because hell, Lance and I just talked about 12 movies together and his rankings still surprised me. So I think that rankings can just be very fun in that regard. So, but yeah, Lance, you have something to say?
I was going to say, I want you to end this with